And she is the former Attorney General of Florida and former special advisor to President Trump. And we're welcoming in Pam Bondi right now. Pam, always a pleasure to have you. Thanks for being with me.
Thanks, Bianca. Great to see you, too.
Two things. He doesn't rule on the gag order. They weren't asking for jail. They were asking for like $1,000 for 10 times. And, you know, we just heard they were defending it, saying he has a right to defend himself if there's threats being made against him. Why is Juan Merchan, you know, trumping this up and making this big day? It's going to be a gag order ruling. And then he holds back. It doesn't make a lot of sense to me. I mean, try to get into his mind. It just sort of prolongs what will be the inevitable.
Yeah, it does. And well, he's going to rule against President Trump. I don't think any of us have a doubt on that. He's ruled against him every step of the way. My guess is he's hearing what he's doing. So he's giving the prosecution all the time in the world to speak, yet he's not giving the defense enough time to argue the gag motion. He's cutting them off. Bianca, all the rights in a criminal trial, the majority of the rights belong to the defendant.
Yes.
Yet the defendant, Donald Trump, is being deprived of all of his rights. And frankly, I think this judge probably wants Donald Trump to go out there and say more so he can try to jack up the number, the dollar amount. I think it's up to $10,000 that they're asking for now. And let me be really clear about Michael Cohen. Michael Cohen is a convicted liar. He is a convicted perjurer. President Trump has every right to tweet that. This is not how our legal system is run. And that's why I think I'm so upset by it. So many lawyers are upset by it, Bianca. And I'm a prosecutor. And I'm saying this is crazy. The defendant has been given no rights, nor the right to defend himself.
It's his First Amendment right as just a citizen outside of the courtroom. You're right. I think you're right. They're trying to see what else he will say. And Cohen gets to say anything. Stormy Daniels gets to go out and, you know, and do her thing too and sell documentaries. Okay. One other thing that is really notable is we have the opening statements yesterday that prosecutor, the assistant DA, Matthew Colangelo, who we know was brought in. He was formerly working at the Biden's DOJ, worked for Obama, comes in and tells the jury this case is about a criminal conspiracy and a cover-up. Pam, nowhere in that indictment does a grand jury ever say that this case was a conspiracy. That's not in there. There's 34 counts of falsifying business records, but that seems like it's tainting the jury with that type of talk. A conspiracy, a cover-up, that's not the charges.
Of course, it's tainting the jury. That's what this whole scenario is meant to do, is to taint the jury and to destroy Donald Trump. And yeah, so this prosecutor was airdropped in basically from Department of Justice to take this case after the Justice Department declined it, after the Southern District of New York declined it. President Trump is not charged with conspiracy, as you said. At best, and it's a horrible case, they would have had one potential misdemeanor, but they had to bootstrap that onto felonies because the statute of limitation had run on the case. President Trump has done nothing wrong criminally here. Yet you have a prosecutor who's biased. You have a judge who refused to recuse himself. Any judge in this country would have refused himself on this, any fair judge. And yet President Trump is forced to sit there day after day, can't attend his son's graduation, can't go to the Supreme Court rulings this week, which are so vitally important about presidential immunity. And they're keeping him off the campaign trail when Biden is in my home state today. 2 events in Tampa.
Yeah, he is going to take off for Tampa any moment now to talk about abortion, of course. But he's really not comfortable talking about all the anti-Semitism, Pam. And Trump did speak out about that. Let's just play a little bit of what he did, because he addressed the fear that is happening with young students right now, today, on college campuses everywhere.
What's going on is a disgrace. Now, it's interesting outside. For great Americans, people that want to come down and they want to protest at the court and they want to protest peacefully, we have more police presence here than anyone's ever seen. For blocks, you can't get near this courthouse. And yet you have nobody up at a college where you have very radical people wanting to rip the colleges down, the universities down.
He's talking about the, police that are down there in Lower Manhattan and, really spread so thin. Your final thoughts in our parting 20 seconds, Pam.
Yeah, Bianca. I mean, those NYPD officers need to be out protecting these students, these Jewish students at these New York universities. And it's frightening. And those aren't protesters, in my opinion. They're rioters.
That's right.
They're saying we are pro-Hamas, which is a terrorist organization. And the only one defending the Jewish students right now is Donald Trump, not the president and Joe Biden.